Alright, guys, welcome back to Game and Compute. We are at day 2 of our challenge. I'm recording this over breakfast. I haven't even really started yet on what I am going to do for today, but first things first, I opened up Fiverr when I first started my morning. Saw that I had a message and that I opened my email. Saw I had a message from Fiverr and the gig was already completed for the person creating the TikTok ad. So I review the ad, look at it. It's not right. I mean, it's a 25-second ad and I'm selling one item. I gave them the link to the item, the link to my website, and it's a 25-second video, a 25-second clip as the ad. So the first segment of that clip, out of 25 seconds, the first 11 seconds from when you first press play, it's a different item. It's not even the right item. It's the same type of item, but different. Like, say, for example, if I was selling products like a razor or something like that. I'm not, but say if it's like a razor and I sent them a link for like an electric razor and the first 11 seconds is like a disposable razor, and then they cut from second 11 to second 15, that segment of the footage shows about like 5 or so seconds, 4 or 5 seconds of the actual item that I'm trying to sell on the store. And then it clips back to the other incorrect item, and then the last 2 seconds, from second 25, from second 23 to 25 is the correct item again. So there's really about 7 seconds out of 25 seconds of the correct item. So I'm trying to be nice here, guys. I don't even know what to say, so I'm going to read what I wrote to this person 6:30 something in the morning, and they did reply. So they submitted it to me, and I said, I submitted for a revision, and in the revision request I put, "Good morning and thanks. Is there more footage of the item at timestamps 11 seconds to 15 seconds and the very end seconds 23 seconds to 25 seconds? I believe the device at the very beginning is a different device, but the smaller orange device shown at 11 seconds is accurate. Is it possible to use only footage of the item at 11 to 15 seconds and at 23 to 25 seconds? Or if there are, those probably should have been is, if there's no other footage of that device, is it possible to loop showing that orange color correct device and not the one that's white at the beginning? That's the wrong device. And please let me know. Otherwise, it looks good visually, and I like the logo too. Thanks very much. I get a reply saying, thank you to bro. I think they said thank you to, like TOO instead of TO, but thank you to bro. Will work with you in the future. This is at 6:25 a.m. Then they say, the video is so well made, I don't think they are changing right now. So when I'm reading this, I'm like, okay, did this person even create the video? Or do they just find the video, slap on a logo, and, send it back to me? right? Because that's what it feel like. I feel like, I don't know why they offer the option of a revision you can't if they can't revise it. They're like, I don't think they're changing right now. I don't know what that means. It's because if this person made the video, they would be able to go in and edit it, right? Because I'm asking them either loop the correct device where it shows a person using that correct device, either loop the 4 or 5 seconds of the correct thing, just keep looping it if you have to do it that way. Loop that one, or find more footage of that device. And why would they send me footage of an incorrect device? Like, who's gonna put, like, what am I gonna put up an ad of something that I'm not even selling? So I said, thanks for letting me know. And one more question. So this is at 7:18 a.m. Thanks for letting me know. And one more question. Is it possible for the captions to be removed? And for it to only be audio but no captions? Please let me know, and thank you. And so the reason why I'm asking if they could potentially put it with no captions is because I will just freaking go in and edit it myself and cut the parts that have none of the other person in there and loop it myself. And this is the kind of thing that I go back and forth. I'm gonna have to go back to Fiverr and report to them, hey, like, this isn't right. And I took a screen capture of myself, of the video, of the footage that I'm viewing, of the 25-second ad that they've created. And then I took a screen capture of their responses and what I wrote back to them and things like that. Just so that, I didn't pay a lot for this, it's quick. But it's wrong, guys. It's like, it's not even the right thing. Like, how can you make an ad for something that's not the right thing? Like, I would understand if it's even terrible quality of the right thing. It's like, they made an ad of 2 items that are equivalent, like they do the same thing, but they're not the same thing. It's almost equivalent to saying like a disposable razor versus like clippers or something like that. It's like, yeah, it'll still cut hair off of you in a way, but it's not the same freaking thing. Like, if I were selling disposable razors and somebody comes up with an example of like hair clippers, with an electric device that you plug in, it's like, that's a completely different freaking thing. Like, I can't put up an ad of that if I'm selling something else. And so I'm kind of just like, I don't really know what to even say. Like, do I ask for a refund? Do I keep the footage that they made? If they can't remove the captions, then it's like, okay, well, if they can't remove the captions off of this, I can't even clip it because it's not going to make any sense. On top of that, I don't like saying things like grammar Nazi. I don't really like to, I don't know, that's kind of a weird term, but that's the term people use. I don't know any other term to use. I'm not ultra critical about grammar. Like, I leave room for some inaccuracy, but even when I looked at the person's, initial thumbnail for their Fiverr gig store, whatever you call it, it says something like create a TikTok ad or something like that. But it doesn't even say create. It says, like, it doesn't have the E at the end. It's CREAT, create. Like, things like that I'm like, okay, if you're gonna have a typo, maybe don't have it like the first word. Like, I'm not saying they can do whatever they want with their store, but little things like that where I'm like, okay, it just doesn't look bad. It's like the very first word, there's already a mistake, of their thing and of their gig. And I'm like, okay, like, understandable. English isn't everybody's first language. I understand that, English spelling and all that, it's really hard. But I almost initially didn't click on, using their service buying their gig, like hiring them to do this gig, because the first word isn't even spelled right in their own, you know, advertising of their own service. So I'm like, okay, like things like that. I'm like, that's their. In my head, I'm like, that's their issue. Let them deal with that thing on their own. But then when it comes to stuff that they're making for me, it's like, okay, there's captions. The captions are repeating the audio content that's saying what this device does, and it's supposed to be showing a person using the device, kind of explaining what the benefit of it is, basically. Like, oh, it shaves without leaving razor bumps or something like that. Whatever. I'm just giving an example. But, something like that. And it has like an aloe strip to, reduce, irritation or whatever, to soothe the skin. Something as simple as that, right? I mean, the grammar is not accurate. I mean, it's not bad. It's not like if I heard an ad like that, I'd be like, I know what they're saying. It's not like so bad that it's not like cringy bad, but it's not perfect. It's not perfect English grammar. And it's not even like good enough English grammar of like a native speaker's English grammar. It's a little off. Like certain things in English grammar you don't really put certain punctuations in certain places, or certain certain punctuation, or certain pluralize certain things. It just doesn't sound right, even though technically it might not be like completely wrong. Like, people will still know what you're saying, but it's just I don't know. I'm not happy with this ad. I didn't pay a lot. It's a 24-hour gig. They finished it really fast. Like, by the time I was up checking my emails, they were already done. And that was like 6 something in the morning, and they technically still have till like 3 p.m., somewhere around 3 p.m., before 4 p.m. to finish it. And they didn't respond to the second question. And so I don't really know what to do. I'm probably going to have to either scrap it or get a refund, or just freaking figure out how to make one myself. I mean, this is my second time this week being pretty, well, not this week, but, well, yeah, this week. But this is the second Fiverr person that I've hired to, help me out with something lately that has screwed the project. And so I'm kind of like, I don't even know what to say. But I gotta eat my breakfast, take this practice test, and then I'll deal with that after the fact. I'll probably make some of these calls too, then deal with that after the fact. But oh man, I'm not pleased. It's not bad. Visually, it looks okay. The audio makes it worse because it's kind of robotic-ish, like kind of fake, that fake AI voice. I mean, I don't know what ChatGPT does. I could probably get an ad made on there. Honestly, I could probably just generate something. I don't know. I'm a little disappointed though. It's just it's not cool. It's not cool. Like, how does somebody do the wrong thing? Like, they're making a completely wrong ad. Like, what would you do? I don't know. I try to be a nice person. Like, I could deal with the bad grammar. It's not terrible, but it's not great either. I could deal with the little robot AI voice thing. I could deal with the captions looking weird because they're kind of like highlighted, and it makes it look less professional because it's got this weird highlighted color in the background over the wording. I don't really like how that looks. I don't like that the person doing this gig doesn't seem like they're going to edit anything or revise anything. I don't know why they offer an option for a revision I mean, I don't know how they can revise it. I mean, how come they can't revise it? I mean, if they offer the option for the revision, you would think they're going to go in and revise it, or at least that they can revise it. But I think they're outsourcing the service from elsewhere, therefore they cannot edit anything. I think they want to take a device and or an ad for a device and just slap a logo on it, and that's how they are presenting the work back to me, is that basically all they did was slap my logo on a pre-made advertisement for this device. That's what I'm guessing. I could probably honestly bang this out myself. I don't want to though. I'm like, but it's like, it's wasting time, you know? I don't want to go a whole other day now dealing with this ad. So I'm going to try to figure out this ad. It's early enough. It's 8:10 a.m. I was kind of stalling because I don't really want to eat breakfast. Like, I didn't want to eat breakfast, like, before 8 o'clock in the morning, because my stomach, you know, I get a little used to eating at certain times, if that makes sense. So I didn't want to get used to eating, or like, I don't want to get used to eating at like 7:30 or 8, or sorry, at 7:30 in the morning. I had coffee around 6 something in the morning with a little bit of cacao, my same mushroom coffee, by First Sigmatic. I don't know, guys. Think about it. Just brainstorm in your mind. What would you do in this situation? What would you do? What do you think is the best choice? Do I scrap it? Do I just say, sorry, just give me a refund, I don't want it anymore? Do I take it and then go through and edit it myself and spend more time editing something that's, like, I can basically crop out, I could possibly crop out the footage of the bottom where the captions are, and I could technically do that, just crop it so that the video footage only shows the 11 to 15 seconds and the 23 to 25 seconds worth of my actual item that I'm selling, and then crop it out so that it only shows the portion of the top of the video, and then the bottom of the video is kind of left for the captions. But it's like, I'm kind of asking if they can at least take out the captions. Like, if they didn't put in the captions either and somebody else did that and they can't even edit the captions out, I'm like, I don't even know what I'm paying for. I'm not paying a lot, but at the same time, it's like, what am I paying for somebody to put my logo on an incorrect ad and then send it back to me? Or a partially correct ad? It's not even mostly correct. It's not even like mostly right. Out of 25 seconds, there's about 7 seconds, not even 10 whole seconds. Like, 10 seconds would be generous, and that's not even half of 25 seconds. There's about, let's say, 8 seconds of the actual item being used. To make it even worse, though, in the footage where the person's using the actual product that's the right one, their mouth is moving, and so it's like, it looks like there's audio that's talking in this weird robotic voice. There's these captions on the bottom that are weird, like it sounds like a chat, like a robot kind of thing, and then there's a person moving their mouth, and the mouth doesn't even fit what is actually being said in the actual audio, and it doesn't even look like they're talking and saying the right thing. And so I don't really know. I don't know, guys. I'm gonna see what they say. I might scrap it, honestly. I mean, I'd do better off just making a freaking PowerPoint slide, honestly. Like, if it comes to that, I could do that. Or another stupid option is to sell the item that they're actually, that has the majority of the 25 seconds, sell that item instead of the one that I'm actually selling. But I don't have, like, any research done on that item, so I don't really know if it works right. I don't know if I want to test it or anything. So, I mean, it's a tested product. I mean, that's the whole reason why I wanted the ad for that specific product. I didn't want an ad for a different product. So I don't really see, unless they're willing to change what they did and revise it, because they did offer the option to revise. If they can't revise, I think I'm just gonna not use it and find another avenue. Either do something myself or find another avenue, because it's not good. It's not a good ad. It's not right. Most of it isn't right. There's only 8 seconds of mostly accurate footage, and the footage isn't that good quality anyways. The footage for the incorrect device is really good. It shows somebody unboxing it and using it, and the steps they would take to kind of like use the different there's like a sequence, like a method to like using this product and some other like accessories to use with it and stuff. It shows them doing that with the wrong device, and the one that's the correct device, it just shows them kind of like holding it and like using it like a little bit with that person kind of moving their mouth in the background, and it's like I don't know. What would you guys do? I don't know. This is what I'm dealing with first thing in the morning. So I'm gonna eat, I'm gonna let my food settle, I'm gonna take this test, then I'm gonna make these calls, and I'm gonna get on with it. So so far there's another hiccup, so I'm gonna give them a few hours to respond, because we're probably even on different times of the world, different time zones. I don't know, guys. I don't know. What would you do? But yeah, I wanted to record this as I'm going, because these are the types of things that come up. I mean, I'm on day 2, and all I expected is by 4 p.m. to be running this ad. I was gonna actually like work on the back end of the TikTok stuff before it's ready, but now I'm like, well, I might have to make a freaking ad now, so that might take longer. So what I might do, I might work harder on the calls, get the calls in, maybe make more calls than I had expected to make, maybe make more than $50 worth of calls, to see if I can get closer to $100 worth of calls today, even though I don't want to do that. I want to work on the store stuff. But I might give them till about the time to submit, and then I might cancel. If they can't change anything, if they can't revise it, I might actually cancel. I'm going to sit on it, think about it for a bit. I don't see why I should pay a cent for something that I didn't ask for. And if they can't revise it, I don't know why they offer the option to revise. I think that they're paying someone else to do this, and if the other person is doing it wrong, I'd still hold them responsible. It's not a lot of money. So it that's why I don't pay a lot of money, but also you get what you pay for, right? I know the whole triangle situation of like, if you want something fast and cheap, it's not going to be good, usually, but it's hard for me to think about risking paying more and waiting longer, and then it also not being right. It's like, I would be more devastated. I'm not devastated because I have the options to actually like do this. Like, video editing isn't that hard. I mean, to make it like really, really good, it is. And I haven't really been in that realm of the world for a while now, but I might just figure out a way to do it myself. I don't really know what to say. I don't know what else to say, guys. I don't know what else to say. I'm still having to brainstorm on this. I might just roll through with no ad, why not, like, no, without a video ad. I don't know. But I don't know. I'll see. I gotta think it through. I got other stuff I gotta do right now, and I gotta eat, and I got other things I need to do for my morning, and then I will be reporting back on the progress throughout the day if I have more to say, because at the moment I don't have too much to say. I'm just a little shocked. So, I don't know, guys. Let's see what happens. Alright, guys, so following the morning debacle, I got as far as canceling that incorrect ad. I was able to recreate an ad on my own, and in addition, I paid for some marketing expenses. I'm not starting with a lot of money, a little bit of money, starting with $10 for a 3-day campaign. So I might not know anything, today's Tuesday. So they have today, Wednesday afternoon and Thursday afternoon to figure it out. So that's as far as I got, but this might cut into the days, because I was expecting to do marketing a little every day, but I'll see if I start seeing results by tomorrow. Today there's no results as far as the online store. I did get my domain correctly connected. There was some issue with I'm trying to get the wording correctly. Is it called A record and CNAME? And my Shopify store had some weird code, like a letter and a few numbers and letters mixed in and stuff, and that is not the name of my website. So I was like, let me see if I can fix this. So I was able to fix that so that my .com is the actual .com that I'm paying for, and it's not redirecting to some weird other thing. Because I think Shopify gives you automatically, they give you this what do you call it? It's a they give you a domain. But yeah, up until today, my .com domain name through GoDaddy was not pointing, my website was pointing elsewhere, so it would redirect to, my site was built, it's been built, and basically what happened a few months back, I deactivated a lot of the items on the store so that even if somebody did find my site, which they probably wouldn't, but even if somebody did find my site, they wouldn't accidentally buy something because I wasn't going to check it. So, site's back up and running fine. I've checked everything that's on there. I'm going to double check it again tonight because I like to have a couple hours between things because sometimes I do miss stuff. Speaking of missing stuff, so that phone call project for the secret shopper rental properties, I screwed that up. I missed that the last step is that you actually have to go in person and freaking go and take a picture or two inside the property and get a brochure and a business card and the name of the person showing the property and an audio recording of when you're in the property. So all that for $5 is not worth it, in my opinion, especially because none of them are near me. So I typed in California because I figure, I know there's different time zones, but I was like, let me just make it easy because I know the housing market better in California. I know California a little bit better than every other state because I don't know hardly anything, in all honesty. But I know Southern California very well, and then some other places in California, but I was like, at least if somebody asks me something, I think the first and only call I made was a site in San Francisco, and I was like, yeah, I've been there, and I know kind of what's up there, so at least if they were going to ask me questions about is there something you're looking to know, or like whatever, I could ask like, oh, like how far is it from like Dolores Park, or like what, is it super hilly, or like, which it probably is, but I mean, like, I was trying to think of places where like I won't be like blindsided if they like ask me a question. I won't be like thrown off and like make it really weird. So I had initially scheduled on Sunday, if you remember, that I was gonna go through these gigs on Monday. Couldn't do it because I wasn't feeling well, and then today when I finally got into it, I got all the way to the last step, and then it was like, to submit it, you have to basically finalize the submission by uploading all that information from like being there physically in person. And California is so big, LA even is so big, and everything's so spread out. That wasn't going to happen. I wasn't going to go all over, and most of the places weren't even in LA. Like, there was one in LA, one in San Diego, at least from the ones I saw and picked. And the other ones were like spread out in other cities in California. And I'm like, dude, I'm not driving anywhere, especially with my old ass car. And so that didn't work, guys. I'm sorry. Like I mentioned, I'm off, you guys. I'm off my A game. I've been off my A game for a bit. It's definitely impacting me. I notice when I type, I make a lot of mistakes typing lately. Stuff that I just don't catch. I got Grammarly on my laptop, and I'm so grateful that I did that, because I'm like, man, like, even when I proofread stuff, and what I do usually when I proofread, if it's something really lengthy, I mean, this sounds excessive, but it helps me more, because I'm better at like hearing things than like reading them. It's not that I can't read, it's just I don't always, when I'm really tired, I don't always focus very well when I'm reading. So trying to edit something, if it's like 5 pages long or something while I'm like reading it and stuff, it can be a little bit messy. And so basically, what I was usually doing was just, saving Word documents, a Google Doc, and uploading it or downloading it as a PDF, and opening it on Microsoft Edge, and using the speak aloud feature, or talk aloud, or read aloud, or whatever it's called, and having it read it to me. And then I'd have it like side by side with the Google Doc, and whenever I would hear something that sounded like off, I would go in and just like pause and just go in and edit. And that seems to work for me, because I'm like, well, I can hear someone else reading it, and it's like, that doesn't sound right. Because otherwise I miss so much stuff. But yeah, even having Grammarly, I'm like, dude, I'm just like missing stuff left and right. It's almost at a point where, I don't know if it's scary, but it's like, maybe it's just old age. I don't know. Like, I'm not that old, but it's like, maybe this is part of the process. Like, I feel like I'm sharper in the things that I actually know and have experience with. But I do find myself, like, even talking with my friends, I'm like, oh, I'm a little bit forgetful. Like, they'll talk about stuff, and I'm like, did I watch that video that somebody sent, or was that something else? Like, my memory is kind of poor. But anyways, for that reason, I think I just missed that piece of information. But I'll describe the process, because I did go through the process. And so basically what I did was I researched the first gig that I had opted into on my queue. I had 10 of them already there. I basically wrote them out on the spreadsheet, put different columns for like gig number, the name and address of the place, the amount that it was going to pay. They were all going to be $5. The time that I took to research, so start and stop times for like researching the site. So I kind of went a little bit out of my way to like find, like, I would just basically copy and paste the address and property name into Google, find it actually online, because there is the possibility that in these gigs they might ask you for a Um, they might ask you for for where you got, where you learned about the property. And so I didn't want to like make something up. So I was like, okay, this one's on apartments.com or whatever it was. And so like at least like, and they ask you kind of like what property are you kind of like interested in. So it's like at least I looked on there, I saw which ones were available at that apartment complex, and I picked floor plan D or whatever it was. And I picked the move-in date in advance. I said, January or June 1st. And then, so I went in with that kind of, talking to the agent and kind of filled everything in. Once I started talking to them, did the start and stop time for the phone call. Then you have to go in and basically the phone call comes in, like it takes like 5 to 8 minutes for it to like load into the system. So while it was still loading in the system, I basically filled out the questionnaire about like how good the representative was. They don't ask hard questions. It's like, did they ask you if you wanted pets? It's mostly yes or no questions. Did they ask you if you wanted pets? Were they polite to you on the phone? Did you feel like they cared about your situation or whatever? And then there's like a couple little boxes, like 2 or 3 little boxes. One of them I filled in was like, what was their introductory sentence? I kind of left that one blank because I couldn't remember. What was their name? What was their, what was the number that you gave them? There was a point where the representative confirmed my number. They're like, oh, like if we get disconnected is the best number to call you back at, blah 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 blah, whatever the randomized number is that dialed out to, because it dials on a recorded line, which is how they upload the file. And so I got all that done. That part didn't take long, but I just kept looking over it over and over again. So the first call, actually, the whole process from very start to very finish took me like probably like 50 minutes or so. But I think honestly I could have done it in 10 minutes. It took me a while to kind of get the spreadsheet together, I was trying to organize it so that I just have like a process that I was just going to just bang all these things out. Like how many times am I attempting to make the call, and on the first call did they answer, or like if I was going to call back and all this stuff. But then by the time I got to the end of the, things that I had to enter, the last part was uploading the information that I didn't have, because clearly I wasn't going to go into any of these properties. And so I dropped the ball on that one. I missed it. I missed the situation. So I'm going to find something else. Yeah, I don't know how I missed that, guys, but apologies, I didn't catch it. I did watch the tutorial before, and I guess I just didn't catch it. And then I watched it again today, and when the guy was talking about the steps, he started talking about when you go into the property, and I was just like, well, maybe he's talking about if people are actually going to go like rent it or whatever, like, or lease it or something. And so I was like, dude, I'm not really going to lease it. And so, too bad, so, yeah, it's too bad that it's not what I thought it was. But otherwise, if you do find them near you, if you live in like Sunnyvale or San Francisco, or you can get, the EPMS, you can get an account for yourself, just register, and if you find them near you, you can go in and just do it. But I feel like for the $5, it might not be enough unless you live in a neighborhood where they're everywhere, or if you just happen to be driving around all the time and you're going to be passing some of those regions. It's like it couldn't hurt to do it, but it's like there's also kind of a timeline, because a lot of them were due on the 10th of May, and then like you can't start before the 5th of May, and so it was kind of like you do have a small window to kind of start and finish these gigs. But if it was only for the phone calls, I would say that if it was phone call only, the gig would be fine. For $5, that would have been a perfect gig. But the reason why I got so confused was because the discrepancy in pay between the in-person gig apartment rental shopper secret shopper gig, whatever you call it. That's I'm terrible at this. Yeah, the in-person one where you take the hidden camera and do the video recording like through your shirt or whatever the heck you use. The in-person one is how shall I say? The in-person one is it pays so much more. Like, I didn't see any that paid under $30, and most of them paid like around $45 plus an additional 20 if you were using your own hidden camera. So I'm like, those sound like good money, you know, $60 just to go into an apartment and look at it. And if you like going to open houses and stuff, I like going to open houses. Like, it's kind of fun, you know, like it's low risk. You get to be a little nosy and check out a property, and like, even if it's something you don't really want, you kind of get to see the layout, and you get to see it in a nice condition usually. Like, it's usually cleaned up and like looks nice, you know. So I don't really know, but yeah, that didn't work out too well for me, guys. And but I do have high hopes for this online store. The person who's helping me with this has really good reviews, and I'm hoping they're not fake reviews. It seems like they have a lot of return customers as well within recent months, and so they're helping me out with the marketing, and I'm gonna do some of the marketing myself too. But I'm gonna figure that out tonight, like what I'm gonna do on my own, like what I'm gonna do on my end. Because I don't know if I want to sit on it for 3 days, but I do need to study for this exam as well. So maybe I shouldn't push too hard with the online store. Maybe I should focus on, you know, what I need to do for career options. But this is an income stream option. I'm building up more of my income streams and doing a project in the midst of all of this. So that's where I'm at with this. Nothing too fantastic or out of this world. But I think that's all I have to say for today. It's like 7:36 p.m. I don't have much more to report. So I'm not gonna record a daily and post it at the end of this one, because I don't really think I have a lot of time for that. Like, all I can really say is I woke up at 6 a.m., felt pretty rested, had some coffee. My energy is a little weird because I'm still not really fully, like, on a full appetite. But I'm eating meals. I mean, I don't know what else to say about that, but yeah, I might get some light exercise in a little bit, and otherwise just gonna chill. I don't know. I do need to make sure I relax tonight, so I think I'll push a little late to like 9:30 to start relaxing around 9:30 p.m. But I don't know, guys. Today, you know, I almost thought about screenshotting the inside, the photos from the website of the inside of those apartments to see if they would approve those pictures and you know, give me the payments. But I'm like, that's a lot of work for like $5 if they're not gonna accept it. So I don't know. I don't know if it's worth the $5 though to go in person, to be honest, because I didn't really see a whole lot of them like stacked, if that makes sense, like stacked like next to each other, like in the same areas. So I don't really know, but to each their own. I mean, if you want to try that project and you do want to drive to the actual locations and like schedule to like go in and like actually like view the spots and take a couple pictures and do it in person like that, like without the hidden camera, and do it with just audio recording and pictures and uh, maybe brochures and business cards and that kind of thing, and just getting like photo proof and uploading that. I mean, if that's your style, you know, that might work for you. So I don't know. But with that, thanks for listening.